This is Madeira, and this is me, and I'm about to attempt something which I have never done before. I'm going to walk across the amazing island of Madeira on a 7-day hike, which will take us through the very best Madeira has to offer. We will experience the highs and the lows.
This place is nearly getting the better of me.
And of course the weather. But having never done anything like this before, I won't be doing it alone. I will be joined by my good friend Paddy Doyle, and together we will document our journey of 160 kilometers across the island. From the stunning coastal views to the epic mountain paths, we will leave no stone unturned. So join us and let's start my biggest challenge yet. But before we get going, let me show you the planned route.
I got myself one of these hiking maps, a Madeira hiking map. Unfortunately, last year, Madeira had a big fire and almost a third of the island was on fire, right in the heart of the island, and it's caused chaos, especially on the route, the famous route, where you cross from one side of the island to the other. So it took a little bit of replanning. We're starting in Porto Moniz, right in the northwest, as I said. We're going to come up to Fanal, the ancient forest. We're then going to stay one night in Seixal, a very pretty village on the north of the island, and then continue. The fire was in this region. So this area here, and this levada here, one of the most stunning levadas, is closed, unfortunately. So we're going to have to take a different route. So what we're going to do is hug the coast and then come up the mountain to Pico Ruivo. Now this is the highest peak on the island and it's going to be absolutely spectacular. And then essentially the rest of the hike is on the east of the island and all the way out to the very end point in Ponta de São Lourenço.
So yes, that's the plan. And this is how it looks laid out over the island. 7 days. It doesn't look that bad when you look at it like this, but trust me, I'm under no illusion of how hard this is going to be. But I guess it's time to stop talking about it and actually get the journey going. So the bags were packed and we got picked up by Duarte from Madeira Green and Blue Tours, and he dropped us off at our starting point in the little town of Porto Moniz. So I'm going to pick up with you guys in the morning from day one of this 7-day journey across Madeira. Today is going to be the start of the grueling hike, 150 kilometers across the island of Madeira. And if you didn't see the last video, this is Paddy.
Bonjour.
Portugal, mate.
Portugal. Oh, Portuguese. Buongiorno.
Bon dia.
Bon dia.
Right, we'll get there in the end. Hopefully, the hike won't be as difficult as that, but
we're here.
Yeah, we're here at the start, ready for the first challenge up that hill here.
I'm feeling strangely overconfident.
I've noticed that.
And I get to do something like this finally with someone else. Normally it's just me on my own, talking to myself and struggling. Now I've got someone else to help me.
Yeah, can't wait. I wish I had some of his confidence. So, whilst I bottle that, let's get going. And that was it. We were off. And to be honest, a little surreal knowing the challenge we had ahead of us. But typical Madeira, it didn't let us settle in. It hit us with the hard stuff straight away.
I've got to admit, guys, it's hard. So far, 2 kilometers straight up. And not for one to be the sick note. Obviously, I had the atrial fibrillation issue a couple of months ago. That's okay. But the ankle that I broke 2 years ago, that's hurting. And that's probably going to be an issue, I guess, on this trip. It hasn't hurt for a while, but these steep slopes, look at it. We came from all the way down there and we've zigzagged our way up. Relentless. I mean, the views are great, but it's a challenge. I'm gonna focus, get in the zone, one foot after the other, and we'll get to the top, or at least the next viewpoint. Look at this, nearly at the peak of that hill now. And we're into the Madeira countryside. Very different to Funchal out here with the little houses. Each house has its own plot of land, they're growing vegetables for them to eat, sometimes maybe to sell at the farmer's market. But it's peaceful, it's quiet, there's chickens on the road,
chasing Paddy. Just look how pretty it is. This is the real Madeira, and if you get out of Funchal, you will find this. This is the reason I came on this hike, for scenes like this. That makes up for the hurting ankle.
But the celebration didn't last long, because once we got to the summit, we had to come all the way back down to sea level. If you know anything about walking or hiking, you'll know that downhill is just as difficult, if not more difficult, than going uphill. But we did find the views. Behind me is one of the wonders of Madeira, Ribeira de Janela, a rock jutting out of the ocean, a very famous spot for people to come. We are going down there, but I promise you, it's not going to look any better than from this spot right here on the way down the mountain. And I've seen it many, many times, but I have never seen it as beautiful as this from this spot. Now, of course, we couldn't pass by this natural landmark without taking a look, so we came down just to check it out. But to be honest, it was just to delay a little time from what was to come. The hardest part of the day was ahead of us. This isn't even the summit. This is a full summit. We had to go all the way to the top of the island, 1,600 meters. So the climb, the grueling climb, began.
Might be the hardest stretch of the day. It's the second hill climb to the Fanal Plateau. The bad news is the ankle hurts and I'm struggling. And I asked in the last video, do you think I brought too much in my bag? Well, I already know the answer. I don't need your comments on that. I brought too much, it's too heavy. The good news is when you're not on a trail, in these parts, the roads are so steep, they've built steps into them all the way up. So it does make it easier. And the views here are still absolutely stunning. But it is hard. I mean, Paddy, I don't know if he underestimated it, but he was like, yeah, I'll be fine. And he's a machine, he's just, you know, smashing ahead. But he has walked across Hong Kong, he's walked in New Zealand recently. I estimated it, and I still think I underestimated it. And it's day one. Oh dear. One of the reasons I love this island so much are the different microclimates, and we've just come from the coast, as you saw, where the vegetation is very different to now. We've now entered the eucalyptus forest, invasive unfortunately, but nonetheless beautiful. I'm finding this hard. How are you finding it?
I'm enjoying myself.
He's a machine. He's like 100, 200, 300 meters in front of me each time. I'm like, hey Paddy, come on, I want to just film this piece.
I'm going slow and steady.
Machine.
Slow and steady.
It's nice to be in the forest now. And it's going to change again. He's going to see it. I don't think he's prepared how much it's going to change as we elevate, and all the different parts of Madeira we're going to see on this hike. But even today, from 0 to 500, it's going to change 3, 4, 5 times.
You shall not pass.
Can you get the part?
I've got to admit, as beautiful as this part is, walking in the forest is great. It's just so hard to appreciate it when every step hurts, every step is so difficult. But thankfully, it was time to stop for lunch. Now, this is a top tip. Do not forget your lunch, because I forgot to buy a sandwich. So for me, it was just snacks. But to be honest, what I really needed and what I got was a quick rest, some water, a few dates, and just, you know, preparing myself for the rest of the afternoon to get to the top. So with that done, it was time to leave this scene behind. Not a bad view, is it? Typical Madeira, I would say. And it was back into the forest, into the Lori Silva forest, the ancient forest. But unfortunately, my struggles continued.
I don't want to make this a video of me struggling, but struggling I am. I've slipped once. Paddy slipped 3 times, covered in mud. We're currently trekking through Lori Silva, the ancient forest in Madeira, full of the most beautiful plants and trees and ferns and mosses on the trees. I mean, look at that. The log is just covered in moss, or the tree branch is covered in moss hanging off the branches. It is special, incredible energy to this place. Just not enough energy to fill me up to get up here, but onwards we go. I think we're making good progress. We're not actually on the trail we're supposed to be on. I have an app called Komoot, and I've downloaded it, the route offline, but we got a little bit lost in this Lorry Silva. I think we're on a path going the right way, but we're not on the path. But that's fine, that's part of this, right? It's part of the adventure.
Part of the adventure and part of the motivation to not quit, because let me tell you guys, that went through my head very, very often on the way up here. But yeah, this gorgeous forest really did help, and scenes like this come on. But after a few hours, we made it to the top. We made it to the plateau. Let me show you.
Oh man, we made it. We made it to the top of the plateau. Over 1,200 meters, I think, in the end, to this plateau. Fanal forest, the ancient forest here in Madeira. But I have to say, when I used to come here to Fanal, I used to think that this place was special, and it is special with the ancient woodland, the ancient trees, but they're scattered now. They're scattered along this plateau, along this plain. There's cows here grazing, there's a lake or a pond. You might be able to hear in the background the frogs. It often sits in the cloud, and in fact today it is sat in the cloud, so we'll get a few shots of that for you. And it has that mystical feeling, that special energy. However, it is incredibly busy with tourists. Very, very busy. I mean, there's people everywhere. The car park is always busy. All the tour guides bring people here. Buses come up here. But when we got lost on the wrong path, through the Lorry Silva forest, that was the real ancient woodland. That was special. Those trees, untouched by people. The paths untouched. I mean, there's a path. We were walking on the path, but almost untouched it looked. That was mind-blowing, and for me that is an absolute another level compared to this, I must admit. And as I said, I used to think that this was special. So yes, it was brutal, yes, it was hard. Paddy told me, for him, 8 out of 10, and he's done some hard ones.
Now, it would have been nice to spend some time here, enjoy, relax, take in the special energy. But guess what? We had to go all the way back down.
All right. Leaving Fanal behind and heading down to Seixal, where our hotel is, which I'm looking forward to because through all of the turmoil on the hike, yeah, it's true, we're heading down as climbing on the steps again, but through the whole walk up, I've been thinking about dinner. There's a butcher there where you pick your own meat and grill it next to the ocean. I've had that in my mind the whole way. Looking forward to that. Is it going to be open on a Sunday? Good question. That would be annoying, wouldn't it? Oh, that comes with not knowing the day of the week, doesn't it? Fingers crossed.
Now, I'm not going to say that this part was easier, but knowing we were on our way down, going towards the hotel, psychologically, that helps. But just as our feet were hurting, just as we were tired and hungry and a little bit miserable, nature knows exactly how to cheer you up and throw something in the mix that will get you through.
Enjoying yourself there?
Yes. My feet were getting a bit raw. So this is perfect.
Ah, bliss. This is exactly why I chose to do this trip, to find these hidden gems along the route. Just when I was flagging on the way down, legs on fire, come across a spot like this. Incredible waterfall coming down off the cliffs through this almost prehistoric landscape. Right, see you guys in Seixal.
Finally, the home stretch. The forest turned to road, and the road turned to vineyard, and then the vineyard turned to coastal views over the town of Seixal, a destination for the day.
All right, guys, welcome. Welcome to the very picturesque town of Seixal, one of the most photogenic towns, one of the most drone-genic towns in Madeira on the north coast. We didn't technically have to come down here from the top. We were on the plateau,
but we walked down for about 3 hours on the way down to this town because I wanted to show Paddy this town for a start, and secondly, we didn't really want to camp up on the top. So we had to find accommodation, and there's no better place to find it than in Seixal, a very local, a very authentic little town with the most incredible views. It was a lava overflow, a fan. The lava came down from the volcano and fanned out over the sea and created this dramatic, well, now it is a town, right? They built the houses here, the local houses. And you can tell it's local because vegetables are out, drying, curing on the walls. There's locals around in the restaurants. Surrounded by waterfalls and dramatic cliffs. I keep looking up top and not really, it hasn't worked out in my head that we've just walked down from up there.
Remember that restaurant I was excited about for this town? Yeah, it was closed. So, plan B, or actually the only place that was open at this time, next to the saltwater pools, next to the black sand beach, was this little cafe where we had steak, chips, egg, and salad. Food of champions after a long hike, and trust me, it tasted so good. And then it was back to the hotel for rest. But first, let me give you my thoughts.
Day one over of my first proper hike. I'm going to say proper hike, although we did climb a mountain in Laos. But this is my first proper hike, first proper multi-day hike. End of day one, so I thought I'd give you my thoughts. My body is battered. Everything hurts. My shoulder hurts, my legs hurt, my ankle hurts, that's for sure. My toe hurts from coming downhill, stubbing my toes in the boots. It's been grueling. And to be honest, if I was to imagine what the evening would be like here in Seixal, I've been here before, I've been here many times. I've been to all of these places that we're going to stop over in overnight. But I've never stayed overnight, it's just by day. And oh boy, in this evening light, this town is just incredible. Incredible. If it wasn't for that, I'd probably consider stopping today. That's how difficult it was. It definitely went through my mind a few times. But I'm glad I persevered. I'm not looking forward to day two, but we will carry on. Hiking is a lot harder than I expected. Real hiking is a lot harder than I expected. I have a new respect for it, but I also have a new respect for this island. Anyway, now I need to sleep. I'll see you guys in the morning. Good morning, day two, hiking across Madeira. I'm not feeling as sore as I expected to feel today, which is a good thing. I feel sore, let's not get that wrong. For how much walking I did yesterday, I'm feeling good. The plan today is to walk across Ponta de Serra down to São Vicente, the wine-growing region. Not as much elevation today, so that's going to be good. We ended up taking a taxi back to Fanal. Didn't see that much point in walking all the way back up, 1,200, 1,300 meters, to the point where we left the trail, the planned trail anyway. So we got the taxi back up into the mountains to the ancient forest, and we're going to pick up the trail where we left it and carry on this 7-day hike across Madeira. Let's see what unfolds today. I tell you what, yesterday I told you I definitely packed too much. 100%, no doubt about it. This morning I dumped 2 kilos nearly out of the bag and left them at reception for someone to go and pick up for me. The difference it makes in the bag and on the walk is night and day. So there's a learning for you. Definitely underpack, be ruthless, as Paddy told me, with what to put in it. It will make your life so much better. Anyway, how are you doing today? How are you feeling?
Stiff.
You're stiff?
Yeah.
The first few hours are going to be flat before the downhill, so we can loosen up.
Now, drone shots I put into videos to make them feel a bit more epic. And sometimes people say, but it's not what we really see, it's not what we really feel. But I'm putting them in this video because trust me, this walk, this hike, this adventure feels epic. And I don't know if you can tell, but my attitude already feels better today, right?
All right, we've just come off the plane.
Up there, I like a lot. You're above the tree line. It's all like shrubby and bushy. Not many trees, but it feels like a different world, somewhere like Greece or something like that. Now, we've come back into the tree line and we're walking around the peak. So you've got this amazing path and you just get glimpses through the trees of the valley below and the mountains beyond. Utter pleasure to walk. Sun is out. Few clouds, which is good. It's keeping the temperature down. Not too hot today. Yesterday was hotter. Made things all that little bit harder. But come on, walking through this. Good start to day 2. Very good start to day 2. And the legs and the heart are holding up pretty nicely. Let's hope it stays that way. I'm definitely finding today easier than yesterday. And Paddy did say as the days go on, it will get easier to get into. And I'm definitely feeling that so far. Wow, looks like we're back in the Lorry Silver Forest. Check this out. All right, so this part of the hike is very much like this. In the scrub, not much to see, but I appreciate the shade. Definitely helps now the sun has come out. And wow, look at this. Paddy's already down there, soaking up the views. That is special. And I was just saying, if the whole hike was full of views like that, spectacular views, you might get a bit numb to it, might be too much. I like that it's restricted. All right, now I could stop every few minutes to show you, but some places are just worth stopping. Look at this, it's broken out into the valley. You can see the vastness of the valley now, not even with the drone. You've got the windmills at the top of the island, wind turbines. You've got waterfalls coming down, tree-lined mountains, very dramatic. Oh, what a place. What a shot, look at that. About halfway through the day's hike, and almost at the peak of the elevation. We're at about 1,400 meters now, and we're in a place called Ponta de Serra. We've got about another 100 meters to go before we go all the way down into São Vicente. I must admit, it's been tough on the uphills, but on the flats, I'm feeling good, I'm feeling strong. But yeah, I can definitely feel it on the hills, as you would expect, and my shoes, my Timberland hiking shoes, are causing me a little bit of aggro. And that's another learning, make sure your shoes are well broken in. Even though I took them to the cobbler, yeah, causing a few issues on the toes, but we're all good. It is very, very pretty here. Half of it is clear, and the other half, you've got the cloud blowing across the plain.
After a quick lunch break, it was back on the trail. And today's hike really does prove my point that Madeira's landscapes change so much. We went from plain to forest to scrub to plain to woodland. It really is amazing. But the toughest part of the day was about to start.
And the descent, 1,600 meters down to zero, down to sea level, to São Vicente begins. Very rocky. I'm just loving how all of these microclimates, I knew there were a lot of microclimates here, but I'm loving how they're changing 3, 4, 5 times a day. Had to change the shoes into the trainers. So the hiking boots were giving me some jip. So hopefully that will be okay. They're feeling much better in these. But we're pretty much coming through the cloud layer. It'll be interesting to see if we get through the cloud. But right now we're walking in the cloud. I don't know if you can see, but you can see the clouds drifting over the path and up the mountain. This is the challenge, today's biggest challenge. All the way down.
But it wasn't long before we found that this path was a bit miserable actually. It was boring for one, and two, just bad conditions underfoot. So we came off into a forest path where I found some pace setters. These ladies were running across the island. And then we stumbled upon this little spot.
One of the reasons Madeira is so popular for hiking is because of this, the levadas. Maybe you've heard of them, maybe you've not. But Madeira, one side of Madeira, gets more rainfall than the others. So they built an irrigation system all across the island, hundreds of kilometers, thousands of kilometers,
of irrigation to bring water from one side of the island to the other, serving 3 purposes. 1, bringing water for the people to drink and use in their homes. 2, bringing water for the farmland for crops to grow in the south of the island. And 3, nowadays, to generate electricity. And this is one of the best examples of it. And now, on the island, you have these hiking paths next to it. So a lot of the hiking that we're doing is next to these paths. And what blows my mind is you get them in the most dramatic and crazy landscapes. And you have to think that people went and built them there all across the island, whether it's on a cliff, whether it's like this, whether it's in the mountains. An incredible feat of engineering. And now, well, we get to make the most of them with hiking. But you don't get many more pretty than this. Paddy's just dipped his feet in to relieve his feet. I've washed my face. But yeah, plants growing on the side of them. The levada keeper's house, blossom on the apple trees. A little slice of paradise here on the levada in Madeira. Welcome to the town of São Vicente. We've come down the mountain. I think if you're going to arrive in a town, you're not going to really beat this, are you? Into the vineyards. The vineyards here are for Madeira wine, growing Madeira wine. But into the vineyards, into people's gardens. Look at this, imagine if this was your garden. You've got the dramatic mountains in the background, clouds hanging onto them. But the landscape here is just spectacular. You can see the terraces, the tiers of the vineyards as they work their way up the mountain, and then the houses with their orange roofs dotted around. You also have these little houses or these little buildings here, maybe for animals, maybe for storage, who knows? But this is the real Madeira. I've driven through this town many times, but I've never been up here on the mountainside into the vineyards. Wow, roses, other beautiful flowers. Look at this, look at this. It's postcard stuff. I must admit, the way down was a little bit monotonous on a road which was not the easiest to walk on. My calves were on fire, but this is the way to make up for that, isn't it? More than makes up for that. Right, I've lost Paddy. Even with the digital map, get lost. I'm stuck in a vineyard. But the way is down to the valley, so hopefully I'll find my way there. But not a bad place to get lost, is it? Look at that. Never thought I'd be walking through the vineyards in Madeira. Well, this is the joy of hiking Madeira. I'm well and truly lost. I've well and truly lost Paddy. Just noticed this guy, he's growing his strawberries in old bathtubs and vegetables. Where's he got that from? But look at this. This is be careful, danger. Let's try and get across safely. Probably shouldn't be doing this, should I? Sorry, Mum. Probably shouldn't even be filming. I should be focused on actually being safe. All right. Oh, we made it. Shouldn't be doing that too often, should I? Paddy will be all right. He knows where the hotel is. I think he's on the way down on the road. I'm still trying to follow the planned path. Ah, the joys, the joys. But this is much more interesting than on the way down, so I'll take it. And I've got the views of the church on top of the hill. But I'm getting hungry now, so I want to make it to the hotel and have a nice shower and have dinner. Do you know the way? Do you know the way to São Vicente? No? Can't help me? All right, I'll find it myself. Made it to São Vicente and found him again. How you feeling? Day 2?
Delirious.
Delirious. It was a tough day, but we've made it. São Vicente. Lots of work going on here, unfortunately, but the restaurants are open, which is good. Not the one I wanted to go to. We're going to check in, have a shower, have something to eat, and then go to bed. Well-deserved rest, I think, today. I'll show you what dinner is. I'll see you guys after the shower. All right, I lied. We're not going for food first. This hotel, it turns out, has a pool, and even better than that, it has a jacuzzi. So, I cannot think of anything better after a grueling 30-kilometer hike than to get in the jacuzzi. It's like hit gold here.
I mean, it was 140 euros for a twin room for the night, but still, to have a jacuzzi and a pool. Ah, absolute bliss. How are you feeling now?
Oh, I'm in heaven.
So much for the hard hike. Well, end of day 2. I just thought I'd give you my thoughts. I must admit, I thought today was going to be a lot harder than it was with the soreness. My morale was good today, but a lot of things are hurting. My little toe is hurting, my 2 big toes are hurting, my quads are on absolute fire, my calves are like lead, the shoulder straps are digging into my shoulders, the camera strap is rubbing on my neck. The list can go on, and it does go on, but I'm glad I pushed through, I'm glad I got to here. On the last stint it was difficult, but I've got to say, it is opening my eyes to this island in a way like I'd never would have thought of before. A new respect, maybe. A new way of looking at the landscape around me, maybe. I mean, I don't take it for granted. I feel very lucky to live here. And I always appreciate it when I'm driving around and I'm looking at the landscape. But when you're walking across it, when you're hiking across it, when you're intimate with it, it completely changes. And we're only on day 2. Don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. We have 5 days to go. And, well, let's see how we get on. But the funny thing is, stood here in São Vicente, I can actually look and see Ribeira de Janela and Porto Moniz in the background. I can see Seixal. Seixal looks so close. And if you walk along the coast, we could have done it in a couple of hours, if that, along the coast. But that's not the point, is it? This is walking across Madeira, not taking the easiest route. It's taking the scenic route. Purposefully to get to know the island intimately. And the pain, maybe, will be worth it. Will certainly be an achievement by the end, if I make it. Anyway, I'm gonna have one quick drink, and then I'm gonna hit the bed, and we go again tomorrow. See you in the morning, guys. Good morning, day 3, São Vicente. Today, almost a rest day. Not quite a rest day, but definitely a rest day compared to the first 2 days. We've got just 12.5 kilometers down the coast, along the coast this time rather than up and down hills. Just the 700 meter elevation today. Almost feels like a walk in the park. But yes, we're heading along the coast to a place called Arco de São Jorge before the big day tomorrow, all the way to the top of the island. So I think it makes sense to take it a little bit easier today and rest up as much as possible for that. And incidentally, I'm just waiting outside the hotel for a taxi. I didn't bring enough underwear. In the stress of packing, thinking about a million different things, I didn't bring enough underwear for the journey. So I had to get my housemate to put some underwear in a bag, put it in a taxi, and bring it out here. The benefit, I guess, of living here, but 35 euros wasted money, although theoretically for clean underwear it's not wasted money, is it? Anyway, by the way, hotel behind me, I think the best one we've stayed in so far. Fantastic buffet breakfast, nice clean room, jacuzzi, pool, right on the seafront. Sleeping last night with the window open, hearing the waves lapping against the pebbles was pure bliss. All right, I've got it. The legs may hurt, the mind may be struggling, but at least I have clean underwear. And with my clean underwear on, it was time to leave São Vicente and get our day going. This part of the morning is always filled with a few nerves, but a lot of excitement. And it's goodbye to the coastline that we keep seeing. But thankfully we're going to be walking along this absolutely stunning coast of Madeira. It's nice to be getting the mix right up in the mountains, all the different microclimates up there, and then down here along the coast. So whilst we're not through the central mountain range, we are blessed with something else. So I'm definitely not going to moan about that. That was the sound of the sea that I heard all night and made me sleep like a baby. But I must admit, just those first few meters, the legs are feeling it today. It's catching up with me. Anyway, time to get some kilometers under our belt. Madeira isn't the first place that comes to mind when you think of surfing, but people do come here for it, and as we were leaving the town, we saw these surfers heading out to catch some waves. Besides the immediate beauty of walking along the coastal path, one thing I did appreciate was the flat start. Oh boy, did my legs need it. And it allowed me to enjoy this incredible start to today's hike. If this was a sign of things to come for today, it's going to be a great day ahead.
Here is a great example of modern Madeira with a tunnel, the road that goes straight through the mountain, built about 20-30 years ago, versus old Madeira, the road that wraps up the mountain itself. These have been such a godsend to the island, and you can get around on great roads very quickly. Can you imagine taking these roads, walking, buses, cars, cattle, horses, whatever you want to take, taking these roads? They go all around the mountains. Now, of course, they're closed now. It'd be crazy to take some of them. Some of them you can still walk on. Not walking on that one. But yeah, what a godsend these are. But it's interesting to see them both in the same frame.
And that's our pathway through this mountain. Better than over it. I could not think of anything worse right now than going over this mountain. So thank God for the tunnel. If you remember, we're taking this route today because of the fires last year closing the paths in the mountains. I thought it meant it would be a dull hike along the roads, but it turned out to be anything but that. Before we knew it, we reached the next town and we were in need of some lunch. Quick pit stop, day 3. How are you feeling?
Warming up, like today's a day off for us, isn't it?
Yeah, nice pleasant walk today. It's been great.
So beautiful, so
Good
easy.
weather, nice views.
Some of the
Music
best.
in.
I mean, this is probably the most beautiful day of the hike so far.
I think so, visually, or
Yeah.
just enjoyable. And for me, the first two were like, get through it. Today was enjoyable. And then, yeah, music in, chilling. Nearly there.
Got a nice little coastal.
Yeah, let's not
Climb.
introduce that in case I don't
No,
do
we're
it.
going up there. Need something to do today, otherwise we're just going to be there in half an hour.
Anyway, we'll see on that. We'll see. But yeah, nice day so far. One thing about Madeira I love is that everywhere you go, you see the most amazing gardens. People in this town really had a lot of pride in theirs. But we couldn't dwell on that. We needed to push on. And we spotted one of the old abandoned roads, which wrapped its way along the coast. It was going in the direction we wanted to go, so of course, we had to hike up there and get on it, didn't we? Whew, just as I thought it was going to be easy, a quick 200-meter climb up onto one of the old roads. Before the tunnels, these are the roads that people used to take here in Madeira. Buses, well, I said before, everything that came up it, but they're closed now. You can see all of the rockfall. Rocks come down off the cliff and settle down here, but they have the most spectacular views up here, and I'm glad the path has brought us up here. I've never walked along one of these. This is turning out to be, Paddy said it earlier, but it's turning out to be one of the best days of the hike. I mean, I love the forests, I love the mountains, of course, but there's just something about, whoa, you don't want to get too close to the edge there, do you? There is something about being up here which is magical. That climb Paddy spoke about at lunch, yeah, it's the one behind me, looking very ominous. But we decided we would take it on after all. The closer we got, the bigger and more intimidating it became. This would be a proper test to see if my body really was adapting to the hike after all. If nothing else, it was going to give us some epic footage. I will see you guys at the top, enjoying my struggle.
I would just like to thank the partner of today's video, Saily eSIM, who have given me a coupon code for you to get 15% off your first eSIM package. Whether you're hiking in the mountains like me, keeping in touch with family, or you simply want to find that great restaurant for dinner, you're going to want to keep online whilst you're abroad without getting stung by those nasty roaming charges. And that is where Saily comes in. With data plans for over 200 destinations, including Portugal, not only are they great value, they're also very easy and hassle-free to set up. And don't forget to use the code JoeyP at checkout to get 15% off your first eSIM.
As you can see, finished the hike for the day. It has been the first day that I actually enjoyed whilst on the hike. The coastal road was spectacular. Along roads I've never been on before, the old coastal roads, never been on those before, and it was just a joy to walk. We chose to go on the harder route, as you saw, to get here, and I've actually done that one before, and I remember it being a lot harder than I found it today, so I guess that's a good sign. I'm getting stronger, I'm improving, but we've just stopped off at Arco de São Jorge, and we're staying actually very nicely. It was the only one in the area available. We're staying very nicely in a 4-star hotel, Pestana Quinta do Arco, and I'm very happy, sitting on the hammock. I've literally just arrived, so I'm going to take a shower, but I thought I'd just sit on the hammock and give you the update of how today was. And yeah, I do feel like I'm getting stronger. Enjoying it was quite nice. I did not enjoy the first 2 days. I was proud at the end of them. I got into bed and I thought to myself, you know what, you did it, Joe, you did it. But today, I kind of got the little buzz for it, I guess. Because on day one, I was definitely thinking, I'm never doing a hike like this again, ever again. And now I'm thinking, well, next time if I do a hike like this. So things are changing. The other thing is, I got my bag sorted today. I was having problems with the shoulder strap and the placement on the hip. I was really digging in and making myself sore, but I found some different straps that I could hook it to, and it made such a difference. It was comfortable. I wasn't faffing around. Don't do what I did and use all your stuff for the first time on the hike. Go and practice first, do a practice hike with it. But yeah, lesson learned, be more prepared for these things because you'll definitely need it. After a well-earned rest, whilst Paddy was getting showered, we headed out to dinner. There wasn't much choice in the little village, but we found a spot and ordered an absolute mountain of food. I went for the traditional tomato soup and the meat skewer, or espetada. We enjoyed the sunset, and then we got some rest before the big day tomorrow.
Good morning. How are you guys doing? How am I doing? That's the question. I am feeling a little bit nervous. Today is the big day, the day that I knew was coming, the day that I dreaded. We just left Arco de São Jorge. We've walked 5.5 kilometers and we're now at the bottom, the very low point of today's hike. And now there's going to be a climb of
1,860 meters. Just came through the tunnels of Arco de São Jorge, actually. We just wanted to take the direct route. I've lost my hiking pole. That's not ideal. We're hiking up to the top of the island, to the peak, the highest point, and one of the most famous places in Madeira, one of the most famous hikes in Madeira. Not many people come up from São Jorge, but many people go up to the top. But yeah, it's gonna be a tough one. Today, I think, is the make or break for me. As I talk, Mr. Paddy's just catching up to us. Let's see how he's doing today. Morning, mate. How you doing?
Good, good.
We're on the warm up.
We're on the way.
Quick little warm up.
Calf muscles activated.
After today, we're going to be halfway at the top. That'll be halfway of our journey.
Sweet.
It doesn't feel like it, does it?
I don't know, I'm going steady away. I'm enjoying it. Let's see how we feel at the top.
At the top.
No, we'll feel great at the top.
I think we'll be stopping before then, yeah.
Let's see how we feel halfway up the top.
All right, let's do it.
Let's go, mate. Come on.
There's the peak, up in the clouds. In fact, you can't even see the peak. It's so high up, covered by the cloud. That might be quite nice, but you can see it. They're there in front of us. Just coming through the last few little villages before we get up onto the mountainside and work our way up. Now, the last few days, the food has been the motivation to get to the end point. But today, not only do we have the highest peak as the motivation, we have the football. Man United in the Europa League final tonight. A bit nervous to know if they, well, I'm a bit nervous anyway. A bit worried about whether I'll be able to watch it or not. We'll see, but climb to the peak, reach that summit, and then watch Man United lift the trophy up at the top. It's going to be a good day. And that's it, we're off. My legs were actually feeling good today, and it's great to have a clear target in mind, but I must admit I was a little bit daunted by the challenge which lay ahead. Having never done anything like this before, I didn't really know what to expect. I just knew that I would need a lot of my mental resilience, and seeing the top of the island ahead of us, it just looks so far away. But again, we were walking through Madeira's spectacular rural landscapes. Oh, the incline has started proper now. We had a bit of a false bottom. Had to come down another 300 meters. But now we're on the up. Haven't been going long, but it's hard. It's hard. I got myself a new walking pole, which is helpful. The views are obviously great, but come on, you know that by now. That does take a little bit of the edge off. We came from all the way down there and all the way down into the base of the valley, and we're now working our way back up to a town called Ilha, and then we'll get on one of the main hikes all the way up to the top. But I feel stronger than day one, that's for sure. Definitely, as you go through these hikes, you get stronger and you work your way into it. I remember watching a TV show on English TV, British TV, by a guy, an adventurer called Levison Wood. And he does these long walks. He walked the Nile, he walked all sorts of other things through the Himalayas. And I remember he said, don't worry so much about fitness initially. Even if you think you're fit, the first couple of days will be hard, but you walk your way into these big walks. And I feel that doesn't make it easier. It's just difficult in a different way. Maybe it's not as bad, not as deep, but then we're early doors here. But this is why we're here, aren't we? This is why we chose to do this. For the challenge, not just to see the pretty views. I can go around on a motorcycle for that. It's for moments like this. Right, head down, keep walking. Oh, any excuse for a break? Check out the view and a bit of a breeze. Oh, wow. So we came from all the way down there, well, all the way along, but all the way down there. Now we're working our way up this mountainside. Any excuse for a break, because I definitely need it. Whew. Anyway, enjoy that one. I'm going back to the grind.
Here it is.
I stopped to film and for a cheeky rest.
The man, the myth, the legend.
The broken man, the broken myth, the broken legend.
The first time hiker who's just casually climbing up the highest point in Madeira.
It's hard going.
Of course it is.
It's hard going.
Of course it is, but
especially doubling up on the water, jeez. But it's good. Look at this, look at this.
Look at this broken car.
Oh yeah. There's an Instagram spot in Asia.
Go on then, I'll take a picture of you. Ready? Right, perfect. Now look out. Oh, okay.
Like I've been hit.
Go and sit there, right, look up and wonder, wow,
Why am I doing this?
isn't life amazing?
Why am I doing
Isn't hiking a piece of piss?
this? Yeah.
At this stage, I was feeling good. The trees provided some shade from the sun. The legs felt good, even on the climb. I was actually surprised with myself, but not as surprised as I was with this. Some people are bizarre. We're walking up this area with these logs, heavy logs, as steps. And I just passed a group, and they go, hey, 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 up there about 100 and 150 meters, there's a log missing. Can you take that one up? I'm like, who the f do you think I am to be carrying a log up the mountain because there's one missing? So I politely told her, anyway, don't be that person. Use your brain. What an idiot. Pretty though. The view, not the woman. Finally, a proper rest for lunch. Bag off, sitting down and catching my breath. Tin sardines and crackers, lunch of champions. I've learnt anything tastes good when you're doing one of these hikes, but things were about to get a little bit harder for me. I don't know what it is, but since lunch, this place is nearly getting the better of me. This is hard. Hard, hard, hard. Every step feels like, I can't even explain it. My legs are like lead bricks. The lactic acid in my legs is building up and building up. I just can't get back on top of it. We've come far. We're not that far now. There's a turning up to the peak. It's in 1.8 kilometers, sorry. But the effort, the struggle is real. Come on. This is the good side of hiking the popular trails. Stunning views. This is the bad side. Look at that. Bring a f***ing bag. Disgusting. You wouldn't do it in your own garden, so don't do it on a hiking trail. If you need to go, bring a bag. I know I should be putting the drone up, but the legs have totally gone. The mind is flickering. I can't be bothered, you'll forgive me. But it's just broken out of the tree line and into this, well, broom, I think is what the bush is called. You can see the peak now. We're getting closer, about 2 kilometers from the peak. Another 1 kilometer just over to where I turn to go up to the peak. But look at that. The peak is up there, up in the cloud. But that is special. The central mountain range of Madeira. Now we would have walked across that if it wasn't for the fires last year. And instead we have to do this. You see the clouds just coming up, drifting up the mountain. Oh, it's just special, special, special. Now you get these jagged rocks. And we're gonna walk along. A very different climate up here. Right, keep going. get to the tops. Paddy's somewhere up there. I've been stopping and having to stop so often, it's just, this last quarter, it's just been brutal. Back like it was on day one for me. Let's go, let's go. Me again. Two things keeping me going. One, that blinking view. Wowzers. Two, I got signal. Mumford & Sons blasting out is giving me a bit of an energy boost. Oh, podcast wasn't doing it for me. So close now. A kilometre away. I've got this. I've got this. We've got this. Oh my God, that was hard. Not at the top yet. Nearly about 150 meters climbing to go. Paddy's just flying a drone. He told me he's been here about 20 minutes. He's been in the clouds, but it's just cleared. I haven't been up here for a long time, years, to Pico Ruivo. Look at this. Look at this. Was it worth the climb up? That might be a little bit extreme. It was incredibly difficult. I guess altitude doesn't help. It's probably 1,750 meters now, so the air's a bit harder to get the oxygen in. Got you again.
Here he is.
Out of 10, how hard in your hiking experience was that?
It was up there. 7.2.
7.2.
It was quite steep.
Yeah, I think, well, I would agree with you, 7.2 until I got to the last quarter, and I think it was like 11 out of 10. Jesus.
You do feel, actually, up here, there is a little bit less air as well, so.
Yeah, I'll go with that. Now the easy bit. 100 meters, 150 meters to the top, and pray that the clouds disappear.
Where's your backpack, Joe?
Oh yeah.
I know they're going to say that.
In a bush somewhere.
We don't need it for this last bit. We just need to go up there, take a picture.
Say we did it. Stumble back down to the shelter.
Just in time for kickoff.
Yeah, let's go. We started together. We'll end together. Here we go. We did it. High five. Oh, what an epic hike. Thank you. What an epic hike. Well, this is it, right at the summit of Madeira. I've taken a few minutes just to catch my breath, and now I can appreciate the wonder of this part of the island. This central mountain range is absolutely epic. What I didn't realise is that the fires last year came all the way to the peak. I mean, there's burnt trees, well, not trees, but bushes, all the way up to the peak of the island. Absolutely crazy. Down in the valley, you can see Serra de Agua, where we came up through to get to the first point with our lift on the first day. And then you have this mountain range. It's absolutely breathtaking. Words can't describe it. Yes, okay, the weather's not perfect today, or maybe it is. The clouds are drifting in and out. We're about at cloud level. Sometimes you get it where the cloud is below and you have a carpet of clouds beyond you and you can see all the way out. Sometimes you're in the cloud, and then sometimes it's crystal clear and you can see the entire island and the mountain range. Just kind of ride your luck with it. But whatever the weather, unless you're literally in the cloud, it's stunning, and you definitely want to make it up here. Sometimes I try to be a little bit poetic about what I say in these segments when I get to these stages, give you my emotions, give you my feelings. But to be honest, sometimes it's just better to show you the shots and to just soak it up myself and enjoy, because sometimes it does leave me speechless, and this is definitely one of those places. After a hop, skip and a jump back down from the peak, I was very, very happy to see our accommodation for the evening.
I'm at the accommodation, I'm showered, and I'm feeling fresh again. What a day, what a day. I cannot believe I climbed a total of 2,200 meters today. Up a hill, a mountainside that was like this. Unbelievable, I never would have imagined. Especially when I was sat in Taiwanese hospital with a heart problem, thinking that all of this stuff would be long gone in my life. To achieve that today, I'm proud of myself, especially from where I was on day one as well. It was hard, there's no denying that. It was very, very hard, but rewarding. These things are rewarding on a personal level, I think. Not just the views at the top and, doing it with Paddy. These are all fantastic, and I'm so happy I'm doing it with him. But on a personal level, to set these goals and these targets and achieve them, yeah, so good. We're staying at an accommodation, not quite on the peak, a little bit down the hill, about 20-minute walk, called Achador Teixeira. It's a cafe, it's a restaurant, and it's a hostel. I've gone with the private room, very nicely decorated. Bathroom is nice. The common room is gorgeous. This room was 160 euros, and yes, okay, it's not cheap, but you're on top of the mountain when nothing else exists. So of course you're going to pay a premium for that. Paddy's in the dorm room. He only had one private, and he doesn't mind being in the dorm room. So Paddy's in the dorm room, and that also is gorgeous and costs 80 euros if that's what you wanted to do. I think I'm happy with this choice, and I'm happy with how the day went. I told you guys, if I can get through today, I'm confident of making the end, and we did it. Anyway, time for food and time for the big game.
Now, a positive and a negative. The positive, the food was amazing, really delicious. I had carbonara and it really hit the spot. The football, well, Manchester United lost, so we won't be speaking any more about that, will we?
Good morning, day 5, top of the island, at the peak. What a wake up we had this morning with the views, right?
Yes, via the drone.
Via the drone, all right, all right.
They did clear for a bit.
Yeah, they're drifting in and out. Well, today we have probably the longest walk of the day, 30 odd kilometers down into a very nice valley called Ribeiro Frio, where things are going to change again. You're going to like that one. Taking the scenic route, and then along through the forest paths to a very pretty coastal town. We're going to have one rule today, and it's a very important rule.
Okay.
A challenge, maybe a challenge. No football talk.
Okay, no worries.
Man United lost.
Yeah,
not happy about that. Anyway, that's enough of the football talk. We have a long way to go. Let's get going. But I would say, for me, I don't know about you, for me, best place we've stayed.
Yeah, really good staff, really good food, very convenient, right up here at the top. We recommend it.
Yeah, top stuff. Right, let's get going.
Despite the loss in the football the night before and the inclement weather, the energy started high today. We would be walking through some of the most stunning scenery this island has to offer, but it wasn't without its risks.
There you go, just as I start that piece to tell you. It's a little bit treacherous today. We're walking through the cloud, so obviously it's raining, it's damp, it's wet, and it is slippy. The ground is full of stones and mud and, the pathway that's been trodden on a lot, so it's very smooth. Slipping and sliding. I've spent a lot of time on my butt. We've all been slipping, even with the hiking shoes. These hiking shoes don't have fantastic grip, so I'm finding out. We've been so lucky with the weather so far. This is our first bit of rain. Not that I'm complaining about that. I like it. The temperature is nice. The scenery is beautiful. It's nice hearing the rain and the birds. But you have to focus every step, and your whole body is working to keep your balance. Trying to watch where you're going to step. It's as much physical as mental today. So we make it down in one piece. We're making good progress, but it is treacherous. Back into the forested area, ferns, green. Look at the green colours on those ferns. Woodland, the moss hanging off the trees. God, I love this place. Maybe
even starting to enjoy the hike. Maybe. For me, this is what hiking in Madeira is all about. Hiking next to the levada, the sound of the water running past you, seeing the water running past you, it's all about that. It's amazing. I love it. And if we were going to get rain on one of these days, then today is the day to choose to get the rain, because it's a forest walk. And walking through the forest on a day like this, with the rain, I mean, it's fitting, isn't it? Moody, you know, the right tones for this type of walk, but walking past these levadas. We haven't walked through so many levadas or along so many levadas in this walk, but I'm so glad we found them now. And we're just coming down into the bottom of the valley before going up into a valley called Ribeiro Frio. I think we kind of underestimated today. Still says we've got 7.5 hours to go, including a 1,000-meter climb, and it's 5 to 2, so nearly 2 o'clock. So that's going to take us to dark, basically, to get there. This valley, though, is incredible. Look at this, proper Madeira. No big towns, no big houses here, just a rural countryside. But look at that. I mean, that up here could be like Amazon rainforest, couldn't it? It could be jungle, minus the road going through. But just the clouds and the fog drifting in. It was a great day. Very, very, very nice day walking, but we've definitely underestimated how long it's going to take on this route. But we're here to walk. That's what I said to Paddy. We're here to walk. We're not here to chill in the hotel. So walk is what we're going to do.
At this stage, after coming down the mountain, I was feeling the strongest I had felt on this entire hike. But I did notice that Paddy was struggling just a little more today. So after taking a breather on this stunning bridge, we had a little chat and decided to change the plans.
All right, change of plans. Paddy's legs can't handle it.
I'm dead on my feet.
Now we're just going to run out of time. We've got 7 hours from where we're from to go on the roundabout route. And as nice as it would be to show you that valley, I just don't think we want to be walking in the dark on unlit paths. So
We've shown you enough of Madeira, all right? Now we need to get to the hotel.
yeah, we're actually going home. No.
We have just hiked all day down the highest point in the piss and rain.
Yeah, exactly.
So now we've got 10k to go instead of 20.
Yes,
Still a hard day's work.
We'll make
Still a
up
hard
for
day's
it.
work. We're still walking across Madeira.
exactly.
It's just we decided not to go up there. This is day 5. This is the longest I've ever hiked, by the way.
Is it?
Yeah, I've never hiked more than 5 days in a row. So
Jesus. Day 2 was the longest I've ever hiked.
yeah.
So, the map still told us to climb up a large hill ahead of us, but we had spotted a path which cut along the mountain when we were coming down into the valley. It was going in the right direction, so to save the legs and to save time, we decided that it would be worth the risk, despite the chance of having to turn back if it wasn't accessible. Was it the right decision? You tell me.
Look at this, proper adventurizing. Levada, waterfalls, the green ferns. Look at that, coming down. Stunner. Oh, there's signs of life. We just saw a path, and instead of going up the big hill that it was telling us to go up, we decided to come across this tiny path, and it's led to a levada, which is not even on the map. Interesting. It's not even on the map. So I was a bit curious, and also a bit of a sense of adventure. I think it follows the valley, and the valley is going in the direction that we want, so why not? But I do maintain, when you're doing this stuff, you've got to be so careful, because look at this. There's only a foot and a half between you and falling down there. So you need to have your wits about you. But if you are careful, and you do have your wits about you, you get blessed with views like this. This one might be added to my Madeira travel map
if you didn't know. I have a Madeira travel map and a Madeira food guide. You can find them right here. Scan the QR code and find them, or link in the description. But I think this one would be a very good one with the bridges at the start. Stunning, stunning bridges at the start. And then a secret, hidden levada along the valley.
I must admit, this part of the hike was a good mix of exhilarating and a little hair-raising. And although I thought it was fun, Paddy wasn't so convinced.
Don't forget your travel insurance when you're coming to Madeira with Joe. 'Cause when we go off piste, you might bloody need it.
This place couldn't get any better. Look at this. We're now literally climbing through the rock. Dangerous? Yes. Fun? Most certainly. This beats going up into the valley into Ribeiro Frio. Hands down, our next one. How you gonna get through there? Bag off.
Flag off, feet wet. What are we doing? Oh my god, this is literally Indiana Jones.
And he's in.
All right, bag off is the way.
Pass me the bag.
Oh, that's a tight one. Whew. How many more of them? No, the stick.
Got your back.
There you are. Without doubt, up there with the best part of this trip so far. A bit of Indiana Jones on my YouTube channel.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
He survived. He survived the levada. What a walk, what a section. Right?
Do not try that at home. We do not want to take responsibility for anyone copying us and falling to their deaths. That was stupid.
And he's not even joking. There was severe risk of us falling to our deaths for what, 50% of that, at least? Oh, we survived. We're nearly there. The end is in sight. Next to this big rock, just over the ridge, is the town of Ponta de Cruz, where we're staying tonight. I think Mister's still a bit flustered from that. We'll let him catch his breath. Definitely up there with one of the best walks I've ever done in Madeira. Heart-pumping stuff. I'm here to test my heart, that definitely did it.
Thankfully, we were back on steady ground. We walked into the little village that we found ourselves in, and dear Paddy needed a stiff drink to calm himself down.
My cider.
Nice.
Oh, it's yours.
Oh, you speak English?
Oh, very little.
And there's me trying to speak Portuguese with the worst Portuguese, and suddenly he speaks English. He's offered us some cider.
It's a minha cidra própria.
So, right now is the cider festival, just starting, and we were just having a little chat. Paddy needed a beer after that hike, having a little chat on the way out.
Chichi.
Saúde. Chichi.
A saúde.
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 There's me not drinking.
Boa.
Boa.
After that, it was just a short walk into the coastal town of Ponta de Cruz, our, or at least my, stop for the evening.
Day 5 complete. A good day. Today I felt strong, considering the hike yesterday, the elevation gain yesterday to the top of the island. My legs had zero soreness in them today, and we came all the way down from 1,800 meters to sea level, as you can see behind me. Didn't quite take the planned route, as you saw, but I think actually we took the better route. Part of this experience is about being a bit spontaneous,
and we definitely benefited from that today. It was very cool, very, very enjoyable day. And I think I've hit my stride with this hike. To have no soreness and to enjoy it so much today, I'm very happy. Very beautiful experience today. Tomorrow, you can see the cliff behind me. That's where we're going. Going up that and across. I need food, I need a bath, and I need sleep. So that's my plan. But Paddy had a slightly different plan.
I'm getting a taxi. I'm getting a taxi. I need to get away from this guy.
Yeah, you got banned. You got banned from the hotel.
I need to get away from him. Like, he smells. He's bullying me. No, there's my taxi though.
All right.
No, this hostel, right? They cancelled my booking, and then when we went in, they didn't even say sorry. Like, fuck this guy.
Yeah. Right. I'll see you tomorrow. Day 6.
It's day 6 tomorrow.
Ciao.
From here, I'll meet you here at 10 o'clock on the dot.
All right. Don't be late.
On the dot.
Do not be late. Ciao, ciao.
With Paddy gone, I got myself to the restaurant next door to my hotel and had dinner. Vegetable soup and steak with 2 eggs. Tasty and exactly what I needed to recover for the next day. And with that, it was off to bed and ready to go again tomorrow.
He's back. How was it? Up on the hill?
It was great to have a night away from this man.
Yeah, I
Just kidding.
felt that too.
I had a crap night's sleep, actually.
Really?
Yeah, I kind of need you snoring your head off next to me to set me off.
Yeah, well, today we have what is supposed to be a very beautiful coastal hike. But it's raining. Day 2.
It's going to be miserable today.
I think we did well to avoid the rain for the first 5 days. And now we're paying
It's
our
inevitable.
tax. Yeah, we're paying our
This
tax.
is an island in the middle of the Atlantic. Of course we're going to get rain from time to time. But today's going to be one of those days where it's going to be long, wet,
miserable,
cold. And we don't mind getting wet, do we?
No, it's
We're
all right.
English.
But we'll hold off. We'll go for a little walk around the town. There's a little distillery, rum distillery, that we want to see, or I want to show you.
Right.
Grab some food, because they don't do breakfast here, so grab some food, and then fingers crossed, it will dry up, but I'm not going to hold my breath.
After having a quick look around the rum factory, we decided to get some breakfast and a coffee whilst we waited for the rain to stop. And you don't get many places more authentically Madeira than this one, serving a very traditional food.
Now, one of the benefits of hiking across the island from a food perspective is you get away from the crowds and the tourist places, and you find these little snack bars that you find all over Portugal and all over Madeira. And this is a proper one. And you're on the rum and coffee. How's the rum and coffee?
It's delicious, but I feel like the town drunk. Like, you put quite a bit of rum in there. I'm starting to feel it now.
Well, that's what you need before the hike on a cold, wet day.
Very true.
Anyway, let's try this sandwich and then we'll get going.
All right, guys, we're leaving now. Thankfully, the weather has not cleared, but starting to break out. You ready for this one?
Born ready.
Walking the park today, isn't it?
I know.
Your leg's feeling better today. You're a bit tired this morning. Yesterday. Oh, he's well into it now. Cue the struggle of Paddy Doyle on the hill. Right, 12 o'clock, so let's get going. 6 hours ahead of us.
Once again, leaving town, energy was high. I mean, it's hard for it not to be when you have views like this. And although today was a shorter day for us, the hardest challenge of the day was going to be getting up to the main hiking path. Steep does not even begin to describe it, but at least it was only a 700-meter climb. Only.
Steep one.
Just a bit.
Tell me this is not one of the best views we've seen on the hike. And if you disagree, leave a comment down below about which has been your favourite. Because if you ask me, that one's right up there, isn't it? Top 3 for sure.
And the higher we climbed, the better the views got. Sure, stopping to film and take photos makes things take a little bit longer than it otherwise would. But come on, can you blame me?
Steep on the way up, but very, very pretty on the way up. This hike is one of the hikes I've been looking forward to on the whole trip. I've never done it before, but it's a very popular hike on the island, but it weaves its way along the coast and through the ancient forest, and you can just see how breathtaking this side of the island is on the north, on the coast. These jagged cliffs jutting out into the sea, and today, because we are kind of at cloud level, the cloud is just hanging on top of the mountains. It really gives it that atmosphere, that special atmosphere that we've had pretty much all the way on this journey, but this viewpoint here, and probably all the way along. Wow. And it's broken out into the forest. So not only do you get the coastal views, you also get the forest views. This hike has a bit of everything. We keep saying this. Paddy said, oh, this is one of my favorite bits of the hike so far. And I said, that's great, but you've kind of said that every day. Which I think just sums up that this is an amazing island to hike across and a great way to see it. And if I can do it, I mean, we're not there yet, but if I can do it, trust me guys, you can do it too. When I told you the views were good, guys, that's what I meant on this hike. Both directions, all the way back down where we came from and all the way ahead. Absolutely stunning. And what the amazing thing is when you're not worried about your legs hurting, you can actually relax into enjoying the hike for what it is, and it becomes almost like a peaceful meditation, walking, especially with these views. But just over here, it's opened out into the end of the island. We had a glimpse of it in Porto de São, but there it is, Ponta de São Lourenço, our end point of this epic journey. And motivation to kick on and keep walking what was becoming one of the most breathtaking parts of the hike. But then again, like I said, we keep saying that, don't we? But before we knew it, we were on our way into the next town. Machico, our next destination. Just coming into the valley now, down off the mountain. But you can't beat walking down off the mountain, down the valley, into the next town. I've learnt this. That's the feeling when you see your destination in the distance. I feel like I'm in one of these novels. I remember I read a book many years ago about, I can't remember the name of it. I'll pop it up on the screen. But it was about a guy who just picked up his stick, left his house in England, and went on a long walk, made it into Europe and through France and Spain. And this is reminding me of it, just your stick from town to town and enjoying the stories and the journey that you find on the road. And definitely right now, this is reminding me of that book. And we made it. And considering it was the penultimate night, we treated ourselves to a small celebration drink.
Cheers, big ears.
One day to go.
Yeah, it feels good to have a quiet, chilled day today. I mean, it was a beautiful coastal walk. It was one of the highlights of the whole week. But it was easy on the legs for us in comparison to the slogs that we've been through. So it feels like a really scenic end to the day.
And quite fitting that we can see the end.
Yeah, we can see it. I mean, yeah, we could easily have just knocked it out and done both today and tomorrow in one big day. But
it's a beautiful place, right?
Yeah. And it's not about, we're not trying to prove a point. We're trying to take it slow. And it's nice to have a night in Machico, because you've told me we're going to find some good local food.
Yeah.
A nice chicken dinner or something.
Yeah.
Cold beer on the pier.
What more do you need?
Watch the sun go down. Watch the planes take off. Watch the surfers. If we were running around this island like a blue-ass fly just to get from one side to the other, we wouldn't stop and breathe and experience these moments.
100%. Well, touche to that.
Yeah.
With our final climb in sight, we wanted to have dinner and an early night. And considering we both love Asian food, we found this street food van serving Korean dumplings and Korean noodles. It is difficult to find good Asian food in Madeira, but these ones were great.
Thumbnail. All right, this is it, we made it. Day 7, the final day of this hike. The clock says 145.5 kilometers so far. We've got about 15 to 20 kilometers to go. We've got one more small hill, should we call it? 290 meters. And then it's plain sailing downhill and flat to the very end of the island, the very tip of the island.
I'm excited to finish, but I'm not like, you know.
You can keep going. He claims he could keep going for weeks.
Yeah, no, I've got loads of energy, but I've also got loads of laundry. And, you know, I want to make sure that we're in a pub in time for the football.
That's true.
You know, I've just got other things on my mind, but nearly finished.
Nearly
Almost.
finished.
Just one more day.
That is it. The final major climb done. Oh boy, my legs. It's not the hardest one we've done, obviously, but my legs are like, what are you doing, man? Why are you still doing this? Day 7. So that was a bit tough. And it wasn't very well trodden, it's very overgrown. And that's because most people end in Machico or start in Machico. They don't seem to go to the end of the island. So by my book, that doesn't count as crossing the island. Anyway, that's behind us. Back down the hill, and then out to the proper hike. And there it is, where we're heading. The end is in sight. The final stretch of walking across Madeira. Don't really know how I feel about it yet. I've started to think what it means, but maybe we'll save that for the end. So close now. We are so close now. And this was it, the final few steps to the end point of the island. What a moment, and by chance, we bumped into our new friends at the top.
We're like looking for him, so we went too short a time. Pretty high.
Well, this is it, the end of the island. 160 kilometers, 7 days, mountains, forests, coasts, pain. How did I even manage it? Who knows? A little emotional to think that a few months ago I was sat in hospital in the emergency room with a heart issue, scared, not knowing what was going to happen. And now I've walked 160 kilometers over the island that I live on. Life is strange sometimes, but you've got to make the most of it. You've got to push yourself, you've got to challenge yourself, and what a challenge this was. From day 1 wanting to quit, day 2 wanting to quit, and then easing myself into it, and finally enjoying it by day 5 and 6. Incredible, what a journey. Thank you to Paddy, inspiration, pushing me on, doing this with me. But yeah, I'm proud of myself. I've seen Madeira in a whole new light, whole new respect for the island. And funny, we bump into people who we've seen again and again on the journey. You start to make friends with the people who are also hiking across it. What an experience, one I'll remember forever. Maybe the hardest physical challenge I've ever done. And I did it. We did it. Well, kind of. You watched along with me. You've heard my little summary of what I thought of this hike. What about you?
Easy. Let's do it again. Let's turn around and go back. No.
I tell you what though, the last couple of days you struggled a little bit, right? I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Today turned into a machine again suddenly, racing off ahead. So you've definitely found your energy and your stride.
Yeah, this last day with all the crowds being a Saturday and people doing it in jeans and people struggling, I like secretly running past them all and being like, come on, this is easy.
But you have hiked Switzerland, you have hiked in the Dolomites, you have hiked in New Zealand, you have hiked in Patagonia, and now you have hiked in Madeira. Where does it rank?
Oh, wait, it ranks. Yeah, it's up there. It's up there as one of the most beautiful experiences I've ever had, let alone one of the most beautiful hikes I've ever had. Every day was different. Every day was challenging, ups and downs, high points, low points, and you know, I wouldn't have been able to get across the island on my own, definitely not. You were the navigator. You really took the lead in the planning. I don't know if you've ever seen that meme of that little kid just walking down the street. That was me. Right? I was just blissfully following him. And yeah, I'm glad it's over, but it was one of the best things I've ever done. And I would do it again in a heartbeat.
Definitely a pleasure to do it with you. A week. He said in his little outro, it's the longest we've ever spent together. Before that, it was just a couple of hours, and now we spent a week together hiking across Madeira. So
never again.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Now, you can walk back to the start of this final hike, but what kind of way is that to end this epic journey? We need to end this in style, with a boat ride back to the start. What a journey, what an experience, what a challenge. Thanks for following along, and most of all, thanks for supporting me. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next one.